A boy was riding the elevator when he suddenly smelled a foul odor. He thought it was just kids playing pranks, but the stench in the hallway got worse every day. Mrs. Wang couldn't stand it anymore and decided to check every apartment door by door. When she reached the Tanbo family's door, the smell was so overwhelming it nearly knocked her out. No matter how hard she knocked, no one answered, and the next second, countless cockroaches came crawling frantically out from under the door. Sensing something was seriously wrong, Mrs. Wang quickly called the building security. The moment they broke down the door, the putrid smell hit them full force. Two severely decomposed bodies lay inside the apartment, their condition absolutely horrifying. Police rushed to the scene as neighbors gathered and gossiped. Everyone said they hadn't seen the Tanbo couple for several days and assumed their daughter had taken them to live the good life, never imagining they'd died so tragically at home. The medical examiner surveyed the scene. Based on the level of decomposition, they determined Tanbo had been dead for at least 7 days, while his wife had been dead for about 5 days. There were no signs of forced entry, and with the words "pay your debts" scrawled on the door, it appeared to be a murder-suicide over money troubles. But Mrs. Wang told police that the writing on the door had only appeared in the last 2 or 3 days. None of the neighbors had ever seen debt collectors coming around, and the Tanbo couple were retired workers who weren't hurting for money, so police dug deeper into the victims' backgrounds. The couple had a daughter who rarely visited after getting married. She didn't even show up for holidays. The only other person in the household was a 40-something housekeeper who took care of the elderly couple's daily needs, but she had also disappeared. Police began interviewing neighbors, and one woman's comments caught their attention. She said she didn't know Tanbo well, but her mother would meet up with him for tea. Meanwhile, the medical examiner found cancer medication in Mrs. Tan's system and determined she died of carbon monoxide poisoning, consistent with suicide. But Tanbo had rope marks on his knuckles, clearly from external force. Plus, they found sleeping pills in his system. Why would someone who hanged himself also take sleeping pills? Combined with the missing housekeeper, police realized her disappearance was likely directly connected to the couple's deaths. Fortunately, after an extensive search, police got the housekeeper's address from a street vendor who sold sleeping pills. When they arrived at the scene, the housekeeper was preparing to kill herself. After questioning, they learned she wanted to commit suicide over a love affair gone wrong. She had been dating a guy and not only gave him all her wages, but also borrowed over $100,000 in high-interest loans for him. But the boyfriend blocked her completely, and the loan sharks kept harassing her for payment, driving her to a mental breakdown where she couldn't sleep. She had bought the sleeping pills for herself. But that day, Tanbo was crying uncontrollably for some reason, and with debt collection messages flooding in, she got frustrated and gave him half a sleeping pill to help him sleep. Out of curiosity, she used her key to open his nightstand drawer and found over $100,000 in cash plus a Rolex watch inside. She thought about taking the money to pay off her debts, but ultimately decided against it because Tanbo had always been good to her. Afraid the debt collectors would drag Tanbo into her mess, she chose to leave instead. But when police told her the money and watch were missing, she was completely stunned. Police then lifted 5 sets of fingerprints from the key. Besides the Tanbo couple and the housekeeper, there were 2 other unidentified people.